There's masses of questions even online.
Right.
Why do we have these disparities? I'll definitely start with that.
Akisa, I think the fundamental, facts that need to be clarified to the public is that, you have to compare apples with apples. And so what do I mean by that? When we're doing polls and you want to actually compare them, then those polls have to be done, one, within the same window, so within the same time frame. Our poll was literally finalized on Saturday, on the 22nd of July, and we released on the 23rd because we appreciate that there's so much happening. You know what they say, a day
in politics
is a long time. And so because of that, we then want our data to be extremely fresh. The Ipsos poll was actually conducted from the 3rd of July. So it's literally 2 weeks or 3 weeks old. And if you look at that poll and the results, where there is a 4% difference between the two, with Uhuru leading and Raila trailing him by 4%, it is almost a mirror of the poll we released at the beginning of July. So it's closer to the results because of the window to our poll that was finalized on 30th June. So we can't compare that which was done 3 weeks ago when we know that this is when the campaigns have been on full throttle, and one that was done yesterday, because things change.
So you say it mirrors what
it mirrors our 30th, yes,
at the beginning of the month,
yes,
which is July.
Yes.
And Raila Odinga, the NASA presidential candidate, seems to be gaining momentum.
Yes.
Uhuru seems to be losing out some points. Yes. Why do we have these figures the way they are?
Well, what we have seen with regards to the figures, I thank God you asked that question, is that there have been shifts in specific regions. In June, when we conducted the survey, more specifically, he was, garnering 53% in Western, which is a vote-rich, region. Currently, he's garnering 66% support. That would tweak his numbers and up them. He has maintained his support at the coast, albeit, also improving slightly at the coast, which is his stronghold. And then he also gained in Northeastern. He had 20% in Northeastern in June, and now he has about 36%. So generally, we saw shifts for him in Northeastern. He also improved by, a significant percentage in Eastern, and more specifically Lower Eastern, which is Machakos, Kitui, and Makueni. And then we see that he also made very significant strides in Western. That has traditionally been in 2007, 2013. Those are his strongholds. And so, what had been happening before, which is why we would see his figures, somewhat not as high, was the question of the undecided voters in his strongholds. Where Uhuru was strong, say in Central, for instance, he has always garnered about 80+%. And now we're also seeing that for Raila and Nyanza, there is almost a consolidation. So that the people in Nyanza are starting to realize, okay, this is our man. We need to support him. So between June and July, we've seen that consolidation of support for him in Nyanza.
But Western Kenya seems to be having the highest number of undecided voters.
Yes, yes. Western Kenya's undecided vote, as of now, still stands at 18%.
What does that mean for both candidates, this number of undecided voters, especially in their strongholds?
That's a good question. I think when the undecided vote is high in your stronghold, there are two things that one needs to have as food for thought or action. One is that you have loyalists or past loyalists who are sending you a very clear message that they need you to change tact. They want you to do things differently. It's almost like a lady being wooed by a man and saying, you're not doing the right things. You've tried, I probably want to marry you.
You're not getting some things right.
But you need to change tact. And you need to be serious. If you want me, show me that you really want me. That's the simplest way of putting it. So from that perspective, it then acts as a positive for the person whose stronghold that area is. Because it's much easier for you, if you are being proposed to actually agree to someone you've known for 5 years than to be taken on a whirlwind by a guy who comes in yesterday and says he wants to marry you, to put it simply. So if the undecided vote is in the stronghold of either one of these two candidates, because it's going to be one of them, then I think the person whose stronghold that is has a high advantage of convincing those people, because all you need to give these guys really right now, what they want is TLC. They want you to prove you're serious, that you're not going to hurt their feelings. They're not going to let them down, and you will keep your promises. So if you promise that you're going to do things in their region, you will keep those promises.
Are you foreseeing a runoff, Angela, from these figures?
No.
Why?
I don't see a runoff because right now, the reason why we are seeing 47, 46 is because there is an undecided vote. Let us be very clear that there will be no undecided vote on 8th August. Because when you go to the ballot, you will be decisive. There is no option for undecided. So these are the people, therefore, who perhaps, unlike many of us, need to be convinced a little bit more than everybody else. And so if any of these guys are then able to convince the 6% who are currently undecided, then 47 plus even 3 is 50. Because remember, you need 50% plus 1%.
A lot of noise has been made about these opinion polls. Some asking, why should we believe them? Let's just quickly talk about the sampling. Why do you think this is a credible poll?
Well, I think it's a credible poll because it follows the science. When we send out or when we release polls, what we now do is we try and interact a lot more with the general public. And a lot of the people we're interacting with now, apart from the media, who we interact with directly, we try and explain to them the methodology. So if you see our polls, there is a whole spiel on how the data was collected. That methodology is what then anybody should look at to determine, is this scientific or not? So was the sampling done to represent voters or Kenyans? In this case, for instance, because the second thing you asked me, why are they so different? The second thing that made our polls different is that we, in an electoral period, don't talk to adult Kenyans. We have about 45 million Kenyans, half of which are adults. That means that 23 million of us are adults. Only 19.6 million are registered voters. So if you then have what we call our universe as adult Kenyans in an electoral period, you're introducing biases in your sampling. We don't do that. We are using only the registered voter, which means our base is 19.6 million. We further go on and say that of this 19.6 million, we limit the questioning only to those people who say they will vote. They intend to vote. Because of those people who registered, not everybody is going to vote. Because there's no point in asking at this point in time, 15 days to an election, who are you going to vote for, when you've told us you're not going to vote? There's also therefore no reason to ask adult Kenyans, who are you going to vote for, when they're not registered voters. So that then also introduces the differences that you see in the numbers between ourselves and Ipsos. They used adult voters, if you looked at the methodology. We used registered voters and those who intend to vote.
All right, Angela, thank you so much for coming in and clarifying a few things here on Worldview. Angela Mbitho is the CEO of InfoTrack. Remember, on Twitter, we are asking you about what you really think about these particular polls as released just the other day by InfoTrack and Ipsos. Do you believe this opinion polls reflect the true wishes of Kenyans? Well, at this point, we'll take a short commercial break. Don't go too far. Coming up, lights have become the latest sensation in town.